everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen, back with another edition, and today I want to go over cornerbacks. Now, as we all know, the cornerback room for the Indianapolis Colts is very, very inexperienced. Last year was basically a learning experience for four-fifths of the defensive back room of the Indianapolis Colts, and the play was not exactly up to par on where many of us would like to see it. So in this episode, we're going to look at the draft. All right. We're going to look at some of the top defensive backs coming out of this draft, specifically cornerbacks, and see which ones and where, strengths, some hindrances, where they should be drafted, where they shouldn't be drafted, and whether or not they're a good fit for the Indianapolis Colts. I will say that I am hoping that the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard and company, are not going to solely focus on the draft because in improving the cornerback room this year. Look, I understand we went ahead, we signed Kenny Moore. It's a great veteran, but he's a nickelback. That's what he is. That's what he's best at. He can play outside, but let's face it, we need solid guys on the outside. Having Julian Blackmon is nice to have back around. Obviously, having him at safety and being able to come in if needed to play nickel if Kenny gets hurt, as we saw in the past, that's a benefit. However, I would like to see the Indianapolis Colts sign a veteran cornerback. I'm not saying it has to be for a lot of money, anywhere between $8 and $12 million for a year or two, just a rental to get some experience down. And with that being said, that experience will be needed to get experience down if he drafts one in the first couple rounds of this draft. Let's take a look at it. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that BetOnline is still your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So let's just jump right into it. All right. First guy on the list is Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback out of Toledo. He is widely thought of as the guy to go grab at cornerback in this draft. A lot of people think he's going to be a top 15 pick, okay, that he has the skills to do so. He's got everything, ladies and gentlemen. He's got speed. He's got size. He's 6 foot, about 200 pounds, runs a 4.33 40, okay? Got good start and stop ability. Got everything there. He even backed that up. Now, granted, he's not the greatest hands, okay? He has 18 passes defended last season for Toledo. 18, all right? But only 1 interception. So he's one of those guys that is going to be a lockdown corner, but you're not going to get a lot of turnovers from him. And another thing, he's still a little raw, right? Yes, he has the height, the weight, the speed, but he's still a little raw in that. He doesn't have the experience himself in college. He still needs to be developed some. And that's what makes him one of those top guys that people want to go out and get. He's absolutely, look, I'm not someone that wants to go grab a cornerback. I've said this in the draft early. I think there are other positions, mainly safety, pass rusher, even a wide receiver, okay, over getting a cornerback because of the inexperience we already have there. But if we're going to grab one, this is the guy I think that the Indianapolis Colts would be foolish not to grab if he's available at 1. Moving on to number 2 on my list, and I'm going to shock a lot of you. All right. This is the biggest boom or bust cornerback in this draft. maybe the biggest boom or bust guy of all positions in this draft. This is a guy who absolutely could walk out of this draft being the best player picked in this draft at the defensive back position. Or he could end up washing out of the NFL before the end of his rookie contract. Okay? Big boom or bust. But the reason I'm saying he is a guy that the Indianapolis Colts legitimately could grab at 15 is because of his ceiling. Okay? Perhaps the best coverage corner in this draft, better than Quinyon Mitchell, is Nate Wiggins. All right. Nate Wiggins, 6'1", 175 pounds, runs a 4.28, has absolute explosive speed, got good hands, got the ability, quick step in and out of positions, got great fluidity in his hips, able to stop and go on a dime. He's so good. He'd be great at probably his best thing to put him in is a zone coverage scheme, zone heavy coverage scheme, something that would utilize his quickness and his instincts to make plays on a ball. All right. And we all know that the Indianapolis Colts run a very, very zone heavy scheme. The biggest downfall of Wiggins is his physicality. And that's going to hurt. How many times last year did we watch our defensive backs completely whiff on open field tackles? Okay. Nate Wiggins is one of those guys. As it sits right now, being 6'1" and 175 pounds, he is a guy, he is incredibly thin framed. All right. Does not pose any kind of fear at wide receiver about, out physicaling them when it comes to going up after a ball or even making a tackle. You have a guy, let's say, you got a strong running back coming up and you need a cornerback to seal that edge, keep him on the inside. I would hope that Nate Wiggins improves drastically before that situation approaches this season if he's with the Indianapolis Colts. That's his biggest drawback, and that is the reason why he's a huge boom or bust. By far the best coverage guy, in my opinion, in this draft, without any question. He just doesn't have the physicality currently to be able to battle like the big guys, right? When it comes to going up for 50-50 balls and out muscling people, I would pick our own, right, Michael Pittman Jr. over Nate Wiggins when it comes to muscling out somebody, if they were one-on-one to get the ball at a high point, all right, or, other receivers of that kind of stature. But the dude is absolutely amazing. He's a ball hawk. He makes plays. So this is a big boom or bust. You either get him and hope that he could, put on a couple pounds, get a little bit more physical. Doesn't have to be the most physical corner in the NFL, right? You don't want to put too much weight on and be too physical. Otherwise, you'll take away some of his speed, some of his nimbleness, right? And you want to be able to keep as much of that as possible. Nate Wiggins is that guy I have at number 2, just because of the potential to being an absolute superstar in the NFL. Now, the third guy on my list, standing at about 5'11", about 190 pounds. All right. You notice he's already thicker, right, than Wiggins. It's Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of Alabama. All right. Guy's got some pretty good abilities. All right. He's big. He's strong. He's got good technique, good instincts. He's someone that I feel like could legitimately do something in the NFL. But he wasn't impressive at scouting. He was not very quick. He doesn't have the step. He doesn't have the speed. He runs a 4.50 40. All right. And that's something that is a little bit worried about. All right. Probably why he won't go first overall. Why I don't feel like he'll go second. All right. I feel like this is a guy that could probably fall to the end of the first round, early second round. He does have a, contrary to what people say, all right, he's got instincts. He's got decent instincts. A lot of guys say he doesn't have the instincts. I feel like he does have the instincts, but his confidence level, that's where they're dead on right. All right. From watching film, you can see that he takes a step towards where he feels like the ball will end up going, but then he hesitates. And that's a confidence thing. He's too worried about getting burned to jump a route, all right? Even though his instincts is there and it happened, he just don't follow through with those instincts. And that's something that's going to have to be taught into him, get him his confidence up in his own natural ability to know where the ball is heading. I don't feel like this is a guy who is going to be a superstar in the NFL. All right. He is a good overall athlete. He's just not incredibly fast. And with that being said, I feel like he'd be better as a man coverage corner than a zone guy. All right. I feel like he doesn't have the necessary first quick step in order to make a move when the quarterback draws back to make his passing motion for him to jump a route in zone coverage. In man coverage, he does a fine job of giving a guy enough space to, go through his route, and then he can move whether he does an in cut or an out cut or runs a go route. He's a guy you're going to have to get used to. He's always going to give somebody 5 yards or more at the line of scrimmage because he's not going to want to get burnt. That's my thought. That's why I think he's a late first, early second. But again, at the point of attack, he's an absolute stud at cornerback. I think he could out-muscle people. He's got good hands, got good hips. He's fine. He's fine. I just don't think that he's going to end up being a top-notch corner in the league. I think he'll be a good corner, just not a top-notch corner. Number 4 is a guy number 4 is a guy very similar. All right. Another Alabama corner opposite him, Kool-Aid McKinstry. 5'11", 200 pounds. Again, not fast. 4.52, right? Opposite end. I feel like this is a guy who could come in mid to late second round. All right. His biggest issue isn't his top speed. His biggest issue isn't his top speed, isn't his 40 time. And his 40 time, like I said, 4.52. It's a stop and go. He does not have good stop and go at all. And you need that for zone coverages. Absolutely need that for zone. And this is why I feel like if you're wanting to draft a cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts, Kool-Aid's not someone that the Colts are going to grab. He's by far more far and away a man coverage guy than Terrion Arnold is. Okay. Even though they're very similar in height, weight, speed, top end speed, Arnold is faster on the stop and go. He's got a little bit more burst, a little bit more quickness in that aspect. Kool-Aid is the guy that you want, that is going to be on the burner all day, the deep guy, right? There's also problems because, Kool-Aid's smart though. All right, he is very, very smart. I feel like he understands playing the position very, very well and has really good instincts. But but from what I'm understanding also, he's too confident in himself, right? Too confident. Whereas one guy doesn't have enough confidence, this guy has too much confidence. And because he has so much confidence, a lot of people are saying that he's a bit lazy as a practice guy. And you know that ain't going to fly with the Indianapolis Colts. I just feel like this is a bad matchup for the Colts. I don't think that the Indianapolis Colts will pick McKinstry at all. Even if he falls to the 5th round, which there's no way that Kool-Aid's going to fall to the 5th round. But I think it would be a mistake and a wasted pick for the Colts to pick him, being the scheme that we play defensively. The last guy I want to talk about, which I feel like this is a guy that the Colts could grab mid-second round. All right. And it's because this is not a guy that I would grab up and be like, he's my starter. This is more of this is the guy that I want as my fill any position that I need because the starter went down. Outside corner goes down, you could put this guy in there. Nickelback goes down, you could put him in there. Free safety, strong safety, doesn't matter. He could fill that role. Cooper DeJean is amazing. All right. All around. 6'1", 210 pounds, runs a 4.44, 40. Like I said, not super fast, but got enough speed to handle receivers. The issue is he had a lower leg injury that ended his season last year early. And a lot of people feel like that, he's probably going to end up being a safety, or a slot guy. I feel like he could still play outside corner. Okay. I feel like he is a guy that would be amazing to just fill in a spot wherever you need him. Because 90% of the time in games, 90% of the time in games, one of your defensive backs is hurt and you've got a backup coming in. And I think Cooper's that guy, all right, that could do all those roles. Now, the problem is you play safety different than you play outside corner. And you play outside corner different than you play nickel, right? So there's a lot to learn. But I feel like he understands football very well. And he could do these roles very well and learn them through training camp. All of the roles. So he's a guy I would pick somewhere in the mid-second round. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Indianapolis Colts. Would he, like I said, would he be a starter? Probably not. Not unless you're grabbing him to be a safety. You're wanting a free safety? Go grab Cooper. You need a starting free safety. He can be a starting free safety today. Okay? Believe it or not, I feel like the Colts need a starting free safety. And Cooper could fill that role if they wanted to go that route. And not just fill that role, but also, if one of your cornerbacks goes down, he can come in. Absolutely fantastic. All right. He plays big. He plays physical. And I feel like Cooper is just one of those guys. And I feel like every offense and defense needs one of those hybrids on offense and defense. They can just go wherever they need to go, whether it's offensive line, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's defensive line, whether it's, defensive back. You need one of those guys. And this is that dude, man. This is that dude. So those are my top 5 guys. And I understand one of them is not, the only reason I put Kool-Aid in this is because there's a lot of talk about Kool-Aid and the Colts picking him up. And I feel like he's just not a good fit for this team. And I wanted to make sure that people understood that and the reasonings for that. All right. But those of you still watching, please, I want to say thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And because you don't want to miss my next video that's coming out. I'm not going to give a hint, but it's another position that I feel like Colts need a little attention to. If you're listening to this to an audio place, please, if there's an opportunity to rate, make a rating or something of that nature, or leave comments, please do so. It'll help out a ton. Don't forget to share this with your favorite social media. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?